Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? It's your boy Isaac,
And this is your boy Bryce.
and we are brothers on tennis. And folks, can we just get a hand clap for 2025 Roland Garros? I mean, my gosh, Bryce, it, I have never enjoyed a slam as much as I enjoyed Roland Garros this year. And for both of us, clay is not typically our surface that we
Right.
really prefer. But bruh, why did I wear this red hat? Because the Roland Garros was on fire this year, bruh. Give me your take, man. How about that 2025 Roland Garros?
I'm gonna tell you what. For people that remember the posts that we did on Instagram for the preview show, we stated in there that this had the potential to be one of the best Roland Garroses in recent years. And if it did not absolutely live up to that, I mean, there's so much to talk about, but even if you just focus in on the women's final and the men's final alone,
Yep.
those two matches alone made the tournament, let alone everything else that happened in the tournament.
Exactly. Exactly.
So yeah, we knew what we were talking about when we said this was going to be a barn burner, and it absolutely was.
Yeah, bro. I mean, Bryce, there was not a match that I did not absolutely and thoroughly enjoy. I mean, you had, Busson, this wild card French hope coming through,
Right.
taking out the folks she took out. And then, she got up against Coco, and Coco was like, you know what, that was really nice.
Now, that's cute.
Yeah, it was cute. Yeah. But you know what? You and that French crowd, y'all gonna sit down. Y'all gonna sit down because I got work to do.
Right. Oh my goodness.
Bruh, so good. Where do we start? We want to start men, want to start women, because both sides were just stupid fire.
Well, let's do the lead up. Let's start with the women. All right. So going from the quarterfinals.
Yes.
Where we had made our predictions, we had, what was it, Sabalenka, that took out Queenie, right?
Yes, correct.
And then we had Swiatek, who took out Svitolina.
Yes, correct.
And then we had Boyson, who took out Andreeva.
Whoa.
And we'll come back to that.
Yes.
And then we had Coco, who took out your girl, Madison Keys.
Yes, so that was the one. So, okay, we're going to start with that one first, because I know a lot of people, including yourself, you was like, don't do it. And you said it, don't do it, Isaac. And I went ahead and did it. And even when we got to the, to the mid fortnight, I was like, listen, that was my pick. I'm going to stick with it. And I'm going to tell you what, Bryce, that match was fire. I'm gonna tell you what, I was proud of Madison Keys in that match. Madison played a really great match, and like I said, they battled. It went back and forth. That first set, she took it in 7-6, and I was like, is she actually going to beat Coco? And then Coco was like, you know what, girl, this is my surface. I like clay. You sitting up there talking about my relationship with clay is I don't know, and this is my favorite surface. Girl, no. No. And Coco was like, you know what? I'm going to have to sit you down in the second and third set. And that's exactly what happened. Coco played a fantastic match. I mean, it was a great match just in general. And like I said, I got to give it to Madison Keys. She came out there and she battled. But at the end of the day, on red clay, Coco is that's her surface. She deserved that win. And like I said, I picked Madison thinking that, again, she's got this little magic going on. She did not disappoint me, Bryce. She played an excellent match, in my opinion. But at the end of the day, Coco is a better player on clay, and she proved it on that day. What were your thoughts on that match?
Yeah. Well, I thought she was going to lose anyway. But like you said, I was impressed with the match that she played.
Yes.
But I fully expected Coco to come through that. Look, I felt like Coco was just on a mission.
Yeah.
And she had articulated it going into Roland Garros. So
right.
if she was going to be sidetracked by someone, I didn't think it was going to be Madison Keys.
But actually, if you look at, against her and Sab, those were the two tough matches that she had during their tournament, though. So I do give Madison credit for giving her a battle. But like you said, Coco was just like, nah, sis. Like you said, I'm on a mission. And she, So she took her out.
Right. Now, I want to hear your thoughts on, because I know Andreeva is your girl who you've been behind a lot. Right. I mean,
and I picked her. I picked her to make it to the semis.
You did.
Yeah. But here we go, Bryce. So here's the difference between Coco Gauff and Mira Andreeva.
Okay.
Mira Andreeva is still 18 years old. She's still young. She has not been in a position where she is not like where she is seeing and or dealing with what is it called?
Adversity.
Adversity. Thank you. That's the word I'm looking for. And what happened was she got in that match and she allowed the French crowd to basically take her completely out of her game. She was emotional, and the French crowd saw that, and they was like, "Bousson, you see her? You see, and your game is matching up real nice. We gonna push you, and we gonna push you over that bar." And that's exactly what happened. The French crowd got to Mira Andreeva, and she let them get to her, and she did not play good tennis whatsoever. She will learn from this, though. She will learn, and she will come back. I still feel like Mira Andreeva is somebody who will win multiple Grand Slams in the future. But as an 18-year-old, she couldn't handle the pressure. She could not handle that French crowd. And that is what Coco Gauff did. Coco was like, you know what? I'm going to take this crowd out of it early. I'm going to beat up on her real nice and early. And that's what she did. She said, girl, come here. Bop, bop, bop. And next thing you know, it was like 3-love. And the French crowd was like, we ain't even got enough seats yet. And Coco was like, She was like, no, I'm not letting the momentum even come into play here. I'm about to own this chick. And that's exactly what she did from the jump. And that, to me, was the big difference between Coco and Mira. Mira got out there and allowed the crowd to dictate her. Coco was like, nah, sis, nah, crowd, that ain't happening. What were your thoughts? Sorry to pass it back to you.
No, and that is absolutely, one side of the equation. The other side of the equation is Roland did something that some of the greatest French players in the past have not been able to do, and that is to leverage that crowd. So many other of our great French players, Gasquet, Mauresmo, Monfils, the list goes on and on and on. They crumbled under the pressure of the French crowd. Roland was like, shoot, this is going to make me even better. So props to her, ranked, 341 in the world, making it to the semifinals. Of Roland Garros.
She had only made, I think they said something like $150,000 in her career, and and just making it to the semis alone she pocketed like $850,000. So I mean, just insane. Her career went just like that. Just
So now she has an opportunity to see if she can build upon that. Most of the tennis year is not in front of the French crowd, but you still got that forehand.
She's got a great game.
So hopefully this kind of propels her to play a level of tennis that will keep her in the top ranks of the game.
Absolutely. And I think that it will. I really like her game. She is going to have to tidy up that backhand because it is definitely attackable. And that's exactly what Coco did in that match. Coco attacked that backhand often. And but once she shores that up, if she can kind of get a Barty slice going, because she seemed like she knows how to slice it pretty nicely as well. If she can kind of get some variety on that side, I definitely see her doing very well going forward. I really do. Yeah.
So then, keeping going up in the draw, you have Swiatek, who took out Svitolina, which was one of those, we love both of these ladies, but on clay, the right one won.
Exactly. That was not a surprising one to me. I think Svitolina has done a great job building her game since coming back from maternity leave. But at the same time, on clay against Iga, that's a big ask. And Iga won, which she, like I said, we predicted she would.
And then, I guess, Queenie couldn't continue the revenge tour on Sabalenka. Sabalenka was like, nope, we had enough of that. Let's
we had enough. That was sit down. Sit down.
Yeah.
That's my new favorite term, y'all. I'm sorry. People like, go on, sit down. Go on, sit down.
Right. So in the semis, we have Sabalenka against Iga, and then we have Bruthas against Coco.
Right.
Now, we had already talked, to Coco about Coco's match.
Yes. Yes.
What about, so, she came in, she took the crowd out early, she took over the whole nine. Yep. What about the other match, Sabalenka and Iga?
Fire. Do you see this red hat? Fire. I'm telling you, man, them Roland Garros matches were not to be played with. I mean, you got out there and, and they just battled, man. They battled. And Iga was there, man. She was playing, I was like, okay. The old Iga is really trying to hustle here. She's trying to get it. But Big Sab was like, listen, sis, I'm not having that this year. I'm the number one player. I am that girl now. I am that one. And you had it, and I'm glad that you enjoyed it. But at the end of the day, it's mine now. So I got to represent that. And that's exactly what she did, man. That was oh my goodness, it was such a good match. They battled, Bryce. Yeah.
When was the last time Iga got bageled on clay?
I know.
That third set, I think they said Sabalenka made 2 unforced errors. Yeah. And wait a minute, for any player that's really good, for Sabalenka,
exactly. Of all people, she is the one, she was our Ostapenko with taking folks out in the first row back in the day. For her to be able to take out somebody like Iga in the third set 6-0.
Right. On clay.
That, like I said, that speaks volumes. That's why I was just like, okay, Sab is she ready. She ready. Right. And so, man, so when that happened, I was like, oh, this final is about to be fire.
Now, and I actually, although I had predicted the final was going to be Coco and Iga,
right,
I was not mad at the Coco, because if it was Coco Iga, I was going to be like, may best player win.
Gotcha.
But when it was Coco Sab, I was like, I think Coco's got an edge, because immediately what went into my mind was that U.S. Open.
Right.
Final. And I was like, she's going to go in with confidence, because who knows how it would have played out with her and Iga, since she lost to Iga in the Roland Garros final. She was going to at least go in with confidence, knowing not only am I on my surface, but in addition to that, I've already beaten this chick in a Grand Slam final before. Right. So it could happen again.
Well, and it's funny, Bryce, because for me, I actually felt very confident with Coco winning against either one of them, to be very honest with you, because I felt like with Coco having beaten Iga that 1-1, even though it was in altitude, I still felt like she had the confidence going into that final that, I don't care how many times Iga has won this. I'm on one right now. I'm on one right now. This is my surface. Yep. I am proving that I can do what needs to be done in order to win. And to me, so I was honestly, when Coco, and like I said, I'm not making any excuses, so I ain't gonna make none, because like I said, I picked how I picked. But my thing was, it was matchups, because had Coco beaten Madison, I would have absolutely picked Coco to beat Mira Andreeva, and I would have picked Coco to win the championship. That's honestly how I felt about her battling against both Sabalenka and Iga, because I just felt like Coco was ready for them. She was just like, y'all won, you were one, now you are number one, but you know what? I'm coming for that. And so I'm going to take both of y'all out. Either one of you gets there, I'm going to take you out. So I felt like Iga, even if she had won the final, made it to the final, I felt like Coco was going to win. But when Sab won, I was like, okay. And this is what my mindset was going into the final, because I had picked Sabalenka again, because I didn't think that Coco was going to be there. When I started watching the final, I was like, I honestly felt like I was like, this is kind of a no lose situation for me, simply because I picked Sab. So if she wins, at least my prediction was right. But who do I want to win? Coco.
Right.
And if Coco wins, and literally I was just like, let's go Coco. I didn't care about my pick at that point. I was like, I need Coco to win this Grand Slam. And that's exactly what she did. Sorry to spoil it, but yeah, no. I just felt like to me, her obstacle was getting past Madison, because I just felt like Madison was the one that had a load of confidence. And I just have always felt like she could play in a way that could take the racket out of Coco's hand with the big strokes. Even though Sabalenka has the same type of game, I don't know. Madison is just dangerous to me, man. So anyway, I'm talking a lot. I'm gonna throw it back to you. Give me your thoughts on the whole Iga Sabalenka matchup and how that came about.
Well, with the Iga Sabalenka matchup, it was one of those things where when it was one set all, I was like, okay, this is really what it's going to come to. I would have never predicted that, even if I were to say Sabalenka were to win that third set, I would have never predicted that it would have been a bagel.
Right.
And so, I don't know what that does to Iga's mindset, kind of going forward. I think we've all been saying she has to kind of go back to the tool shed a little bit. There are just some parts of her game that she's been able to get around not improving because she was just driving people. Right. Now that people have gotten used to her game, she's going to need to do those things. She's going to need to improve her serve. She's going to need to learn how to take advantage of coming into the net and knocking off balls. I even think Iga needs a slice backhand. So, the beautiful thing about this, and I can't remember who said it. It was one of the female commentators, either Lindsay or Chris Everett or somebody. They were saying the amazing thing about Iga is that she has had so much success with all these areas of improvement in her game.
Right.
And so if she can actually improve those areas, she might be competitive at that top level again.
Right.
As it relates to the final, I did pick Coco to win from day one. I think, I remember hearing her in an interview before the tournament saying she really wanted to win another major. She did not want to get stuck on, she's won this one major, even though we all know that would have gotten her into Hall of Fame. Now, and we have always said that we thought that this was potentially her best surface. Yes. She had already been to a final here before. Iga was now shaky, and she had a couple of wins over her. Sabalenka, had just gotten served up by Queenie. She was number one, but she could be beat on clay, and she's beaten her before. So I just was thinking, like, if as long as Coco is her normal self and she's willing to get in there and to battle in the fight, I saw her taking this title. And that is what she had to do to take the title. Now, granted, she did, knock Busan upside the head and, reminded her what time it was. But she lost that first set in the finals against Sabalenka. But remember, she lost the first set against Sabalenka in that U.S. Open final a couple of years ago. She battled. She stayed with it. The conditions were really tough to play in. But that's the same for both players.
Both sides. Exactly.
Right. And look, we know Coco's forehand can be the jankiest shot out there on the court. So if she was able to kind of manage conditions and play her best, which kind of leads us to another topic, because there's a lot of heat being thrown Sabalenka's way, because in the press conference afterwards, she was really leaning into the thought that, it's not so much what Coco did, it's really about how poorly I played. Now, she's since come back and has stated, all props to, Coco for doing what she needed to do. And, both of them, she obviously managed the conditions better than she did, but she only came back and said that because people started coming for her. Mm-hmm. And then, like you, because we talked about this before, I was unaware that Sabalenka not only said all of that about Coco, but she also stated that if it had not been for her taking out Iga, that Iga would have won that title over Coco. And that is just straight haterade right there. And props to Coco for, as she has always done, remaining really poised, really professional, and her saying, look, I'm the one sitting here with the trophy. And oh, by the way, last time I played Iga, I straight said her.
Well,
so you can't really go out there and make that kind of statement. So I'm telling you what, Sabalenka, I know she's trying to come back and apologize now, but a lot of the fans, particularly the American fans, I think might have something for Sabalenka when she comes to the U.S. Open in August.
Mm-hmm. Know that song, too much, too little, too late to ever try again. Come on now. Listen, it's a little bit too late for that. She should not have let that slide out of her mouth whatsoever. That is not something that kind of gets lost in translation or anything. That was just a very irresponsible and disrespectful thing to say. To basically say, if I hadn't taken out Iga, then she would have been the actual winner. You don't disrespect anybody like that. You just don't do that. And like you said, once again, Coco showing just how awesome professional she is. She didn't even engage it. She was just like, you know what? You can say what you want. I'm sitting here with this title. Mm-hmm. Exactly. And that's all that matters. That's all that really matters. At the end of the day, I got this title. And let's be very clear. It didn't have nothing to do with the fact that, Sabalenka played blah, 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 blah. Listen, what it all ended up being, it was all about this.
Mm-hmm.
It was all about the mental game. Who had the strong mental game on the day? Who was up there chirping at their box every other point? Blah, 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 blah. And who was out there just like, you know what? These are the conditions. This is what we got to deal with. We're going to play ball. I'm going to play, and I'm going to do what I need to do to win this title.
Yep.
Who was it? Who was it? So that's all I'm going to say on that. Coco showed why she won that title. She had the mental fortitude. She played the right style of tennis in order to win, and that's exactly what she did. She won. So Big Sab, I've always been a fan of yours, but listen, sis, you don't step out there like that. Don't step out there like that. No. Especially not on Coco. You don't do that. No.
Right. And I'm sure she's a little salty that this is the second time she's met Coco in a Grand Slam final, and she got scalped.
Yeah. But
after winning the first set.
Exactly. But at the end of the day, you are a professional tennis player. You're the number one player in the world. You don't go out like that. You don't go out. You don't be petty and disrespectful like that. Go on ahead. Regardless of what the conditions were, they were what they were, and you lost. Take it. Take it and bring it back the next time around. But don't get out there saying silliness. Don't be out there being all silly.
Right. See, now what I want to have happen is I need Madison Keys in Sabalenka's quarter at Wimbledon.
Yes. Because Madison, I'm already telling you right now, I'm picking Madison for Wimbledon. I am. So y'all just don't be surprised. I mean, whenever the draw comes out, I just honestly believe that Madison's game, if she is healthy, her game to me is for grass. And I like you said, I hope that they are in the same quarter because she will take out Sabalenka. Yeah, I'm saying it, y'all. Yes, I am.
So Isaac, Coco wins Grand Slam title number 2 for her. She solidifies her spot as the number 2 ranked person in the world. And as if we weren't getting a good dosage of Coco in commercials and ads and all that, that's just about to increase.
Oh my goodness. And let's just really quickly give a major shout out to Corey and Candy Golf. The parents, they did an interview with them after the match. I love those two. I absolutely love those two. They have raised such a poised and professional daughter and athlete. They have done just an amazing. I love those two. So props.
And you know what? Let's continue the shout outs because the father, has stated several times that he just followed the playbook of Richard Williams.
Come on.
So as we continue to talk about the legacy in the game that the Williams family has helped to create, because I do think how poised she is comes from learning what Serena and Venus did. Mm-hmm. And shout out for Venus for out there looking on fire, doing her pieces on TNT.
The red, I'm telling you, Roland Garros, fire. Venus got out there and was like, I'm gonna do these little skits, and they about to be popping, and all of them were on point. I love the one that she did with the ladies. I don't know if it was, Sex in the City or what have you, but she was teaching them the different strokes, and I was just like, come on, Venus. Yes. Come on now. Again, and I know we'll say this, TNT, y'all showed up and showed out. Y'all showed up and showed out.
You really did. Did.
Bringing Venus just again, Venus, Coco, and Sloane on set together. That was a moment. And quietly, let me just say something real quick that I didn't even think about. Right. I was like, okay, Coco got up in there, and it was like Venus, Roland Garros finalist to Serena. Sloane, Roland Garros finalist to Halep. Coco, Roland Garros finalist to Iga. Coco was like, you know what? We about to break this streak. We about to break this streak, sisters. Yes. I'm about to do it for us. And and don't think that wasn't some motivation. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted.
And I love the way that Coco said her winning that title was for people that looked like her. Right? So that they had somebody that they could look up to and be like, you know what? We can do this as well.
Man, bruh, telling you, this Roland Garros was so good. Oh,
good. Okay, so let's shout out, as we're talking about the women, let's also shout out the women's doubles.
Yes.
Because we had the Italian pairing of Ronnie and Paolini. They did the damn thing again.
Once again, man. I tell you what, I absolutely love Paolini. She's just an incredible athlete, but just everything about her is just awesome. I just love the fact that, and quietly, Sarah Arani is like, you know what? I've been in this game a long time, and you know what? I still got game. Y'all may laugh at my little hand, my little serve, my little pancake serve, but listen, it's effective though, ain't it? It's effective. Sarah Ronnie be doing things because listen, not only did she get up in there with Paolini, winning the women's doubles title, she was like, "Hey, Baba Sordi." She was like, "Hey, bro, come on, play mixed doubles with me, and let's go ahead and get this money and get this title as well. Come on now, Bryce, come on." So
how many people walked away with 2 Roland Garros titles this year?
Sound like just one person. That was Sarah Arani. Mm-hmm. So you can say all you want about her game. She is effective and she gets it done.
Gets it real done.
Come on now.
So, okay. That was the women's side of the house.
Yes.
We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to jump into the men. All right. And we are back. Okay. So the women were fire. They burnt it up.
They burnt it up. Crisp.
Let's move to the men.
Oh my goodness. I can't, Bryce. I tell you, man. Oh my goodness. If you are a tennis fan and you did not enjoy Roland Garros 2025 this year, something is wrong with you.
Something is wrong
with you. God, it was so fire. Go ahead.
So let's run down these quarterfinal results.
Yes,
all right. So we had Sinner, who ended up taking out Rublev.
Yes.
Then we had actually I didn't update my draw. Who did Draper lose to?
Draper lost to Bublik.
Bublik, that's right. I'm sorry, Rick. My fault, Rick. Addition guy. So we have Bublik, who took out Draper, which was a huge surprise because for anybody that's been following tennis, Draper has been one of the hottest players on the tour coming into. Hell, I had picked him to make it to the finals.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
So that was my Madison Keys type pick.
Nothing wrong with it.
Then we had Zverev, who took out. Who did he take out?
I forget who he took out.
I'm
not looking at the draw directly either.
Yeah, so Zverev.
It don't matter. It was Zverev.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. And then we had Djokovic.
Yeah. Yep.
Who took out?
I don't know.
I don't remember either.
Which is a shame because I'm sitting here with my phone, but I don't have the draws on my phone. So but again, the quarterfinals. Actually,
I have the draws in front of me. I don't know why I just didn't look. So we have. So in the quarterfinals, we had Sinner versus Bublik.
Yep. And Zverev versus Djokovic.
Zverev versus Djokovic. We had Musetti versus Tiafoe, and we had Alcaraz versus Tommy Paul.
Correct. Yes.
So, just really running down those results real quick, Isaac. We, Sinner, ran through Bublik like a bad cold.
Yes.
Novak, after losing the first set to Zverev, came back and ran through him like a bad cold.
Well, which was a surprise because you and I had both picked Zverev to take out Djokovic. And I'm going to tell you what, folks, it is not looking good for Sasha to win a Grand Slam because I actually figured he would. Literally, I thought I don't mean to be mean like that, but listen, you can't even take out Djokovic.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying? That's not good. That's not good. That's not a good look.
But Isaac, and I'm going to just interject this, and it was really clear for me in the match against Sinner.
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest fan of Djokovic for a lot of reasons, but Djokovic played well.
He did. He absolutely did.
I was really impressed, particularly in the match with Sinner. Although he got straight-setted, I felt like he played well. I felt like most people Djokovic would have played that day, he probably would have won. Most.
Yeah, and that's the problem, though, as well. To the Djokovic fans out there, I'm really sorry, y'all. But he did. He played extremely well. And Sinner straight-setted him on clay.
Okay, the next match we had in the quarters was, Musetti in 4. Took out Tiafoe, which, we wanted more from Tiafoe, but against Musetti on clay, that's a hard ask.
Yes. And I'll weigh more into that in the next, when we talk the semis.
Okay.
But no, I felt like Tiafoe played and had a great Roland Garros 2025. I felt like he lived up to his potential, in my opinion. I really feel like he played well. Yep.
He did. And then Lord.
Well,
we love both of these guys. We really do. Alcaraz and Tommy Paul, but
Bryce, I said it when we did the mid-fortnight, and I love Tommy Paul. He is he and Carlos Alcaraz are two of my absolute top favorite players. But at the end of the day, Carlos Alcaraz does everything better than Tommy Paul. And I said that, and I said there's no shade on Tommy whatsoever. It's just the facts. He has a better forehand, a better backhand, a better serve. He's better at the net. He is a better athlete. Tommy Paul is fast, but he is not Carlos Alcaraz fast. I'm sorry. And so everything that Tommy is, Carlos is just that much, just that little bit better. And that's what makes the difference. And so unfortunately, that result did not surprise me whatsoever.
Yeah. I thought it may have been a little closer because Tommy has actually bested Carlos before a couple of times, actually.
Yeah, a couple of times.
But what did they say in what was it, Game of Thrones? Not today.
Not today.
No, that was not
today.
That was not happening. So moving into the semifinals,
yes,
you had Sinner against Djokovic.
Fire.
It was a great match. It really was.
It was.
But you know what? It's almost like what you just said about Alcaraz over Tommy Paul.
Mm-hmm.
I told several people after that match, it just kind of felt like whenever Sinner really needed to win a point or he really needed to win a game, he could.
He could. Exactly. And that's what it boils down to is he is at that level where Djokovic was. And like I said, no shade to Djokovic. Again, Father Time is undefeated, simply put.
Undefeated. Mm-hmm.
But that's where we're at right now. And that's why you saw Djokovic after the match. He took off his thing. He waved to the crowd. He kissed the clay. I honestly do not think that we are going to see Novak back, at least at Roland Garros next year. And quietly, and I don't want to go because I know we'll talk about this in future recordings, especially when we record Wimbledon. But simply stated, if Novak does not win Wimbledon, I do not think he gets to 25. He will not win the U.S. Open, and he will not win Australian because right now Sinner is way too good, and Alcaraz is just continuing to improve on the hard courts. And then you've got other beasts out there, like you said, like Draper. You got Shelton. You got Tiafoe. I mean, folks on hard court that's they jam.
Right.
If Novak does not win Wimbledon, he is not going to get to 25. And so, like I said, we'll talk about that later. But that to me is the reason why he kissed the clay and everything is I don't know if we see Novak in Roland Garros 2026. I really don't.
Right. Okay. And so then you've got Alcaraz. No, what? I'm just,
He's like, keep it moving. That's right.
Right. You got Alcaraz against Musetti, and Musetti has a nice first set, sneaks out, gets that 6-4 win. Carlos starts to turn things around in that second set. Musetti kind of maybe left the door open a little bit.
Yes. Let us be very clear, Bryce. Musetti could have won that match. He could have won that match. Musetti played some great tennis for about a good set and a half going into that tiebreaker. Right. Had he won that tiebreaker, I tend to wonder if the adrenaline would have continued to push itself past that injury that he had. I wonder about that because it was interesting to me that after he lost that tiebreak, it's like immediately that injury was just like boop, and then he's like, oh shit, and at that point Carlos was like, yeah, you really should have taken that 2-love lead because now that it's 1-all, bruh,
right.
But here's what I will say, Bryce, and I'm put it out there, and I'm gonna say it with my chest. I do believe that Lorenzo Musetti will win Roland Garros one day. I absolutely believe that. He played that well, in my opinion, that I honestly feel like he could beat Carlos and Yannick Sinner and win a Roland Garros. It may not be next year, may not be in the next 2 years, but I honestly believe that young man will win Roland Garros. I really do.
Yeah, I think he'll be a dark horse for sure. Behind the favorites of Sinner and Alcaraz. Yep. But anyway, not this year. So that takes us to the finals, where we had 1 and 2. As a matter of fact, we had number 1 versus number 2 in both the men's and the women's side for the first time since 1984. Where you have Martina and Chris, and that backbreaker Yvonne Lendl on John McEnroe. Yeah. I tell you what, man, as good as that women or ladies final was, I don't think folks was ready for the men's final because there was so much going on here, right? You had I guess Jim Courier is now calling them the new 2, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so everybody, and arguably so, are calling them, they're the 2 guys to beat, right, for these major titles.
Exactly.
They're meeting in the finals for the very first time. They are both undefeated in major finals.
Yep.
But Alcaraz is creeping up on pigeon status on Sinner because he had beaten him 4 times in a row going into this match.
Right.
And then when Sinner won the first 2 sets, Alcaraz had never come back from 0-2. Now, like they said, there hadn't been a lot of times that he had been down 0-2.
Right.
But still, he had never come back. We hadn't seen him do that yet. And I know you've got so much to say about this match, but the one thing that I want to say, and if there is anything that is keeping Sinner up at night, because let's be clear, if Sinner had played anybody else other than Alcaraz, he would have been lifting that title. But when he was up, what was it, 5-3, 40 love? And the 40 love.
Well, love 40, because it was on Carlos's serve. Because Carlos was serving 3-5, love 40.
Right. When he could not get one of those 3 match points, that, I know that is...
Oh, that's it. Yeah, it's going to haunt him for a while. I feel like Sinner is pretty good at, as we've seen, at compartmentalizing. So so it'll sting for a good bit, but I don't think that this kind of, I don't think that, like some players you would see a dip like mentally. Right. I just don't see that from Sinner. I see that he's going to be like, you know what? I made my first Roland Garros final. Yeah, I had 3 match championship points. I didn't do it this time around, but you know what? I'm gonna make it happen the next time. And I'm gonna say it with my chest, just like I said it with Musetti. Yannick Sinner will win the Roland Garros. He's going to win all 4 of the titles.
Oh yeah, at some point.
Because Bryce, he shocked me in that final because I was not ready for him to come out and battle the way that he did. I mean, he played some outstanding tennis in that final, Bryce. There were some things that Yannick showed me. I was just like, okay, you legit. I mean, you legit. I mean, because how we've always talked about, well, Carlos has this level that he can get up here when I'm telling you what, that gap is closing. Sinner is getting to the point where he's like, I can get to that level as well. He played, to me, an outstanding championship match. He really did. And like I said, 6-4, 7-6, 4-6, 6-7, 6-7. I mean, was the score line.
Right.
A match doesn't get better than that. It really doesn't.
But you know what, Isaac? I'm going to jump in there. Even though Sinner can get to a very high level, I still don't think he can get to Carlos's highest level. And I think that was shown in the tiebreaker in the 5th set. Because at that point, Alcaraz elevated to another level that Sinner was not ready for.
Well, and so I agree with that.
Yeah, so I do agree. They both are at an extremely high level, but Alcaraz has a level he can go to that there's nobody else on this planet that can beat him.
I trust me when I tell you, Bryce. I'm agreeing with you 100%. The only thing that holds me back is the fact that, again, if this is a year from now and you take that same scenario and you have Alcaraz serving at 3-5, love 40, Sinner's going to make one of those match points. And then we don't even get to that tiebreak where Carlos does take, because you're right. When that super tiebreaker happened, he jetted out to 7-0 like it wasn't. He was just like, oh, you done messed up. You done gave me a chance. He was like, it was like 7-0, then it was like 9-2, and then he was like, oh, and to cap it off, I'm gonna hit a winner to take this title.
Well, that's exactly what I was getting ready to say. Don't just focus on the score. Think about the shots that he was hitting in that super tiebreak. They were I mean, he had truly stepped it up. Now I'm gonna tell you something else. Now this goes back to the comment that you just made.
Yeah.
I don't think you get to a situation next time where Carlos is down. Let's talk.
I'm gonna tell
you what. This is where Alcaraz's improvement area is. As much as I love that guy, there are still some times that I get very frustrated with him on shots that he goes for.
Well, right? And that's what I was going to talk about. Go ahead.
Right.
Go ahead. Yep.
But my thing is that's his growth area.
Yes.
So if he starts to narrow that down to where his shot tolerance is smarter and better, I'm telling you what. I'm not saying he's winning every match, but when he wants to like lock in, because you can't hit him off the court.
No, you can't.
He can hit with you as hard as you want to hit.
Right.
From an athleticism standpoint, his defensive skills are out of the box, right?
Out of this world, yeah.
He's got that Federer type of pulling a shot out his ass type thing that makes any potential shot possible for him. And so that's where I feel like, and I forgot what commentator said. He said it perfectly. He said, center has like probably a higher consistent style of play, right? Right. Carlos goes up and down a little more, so he can be under a center, but he can also be above a center. And if he can start to maximize the number of times that, or when he is playing above a center, that makes him extremely dangerous.
And see, okay, and I 100% agree with everything that you said. And here are my observations, because like you said, these are areas where Carlos, in my opinion, needs to improve. And this is where, honestly, when I was watching that match, I was like, this to me is what differentiates Carlos from Roger Federer. Roger Federer, when Roger Federer got a lead, you knew Roger Federer was going, it just simply put, it was done. Right. It was over. Carlos does not play well when he has a lead. Just simply put, well, first and foremost, that first set, like you were saying, he was serving at 4-5. It just felt like he got nervous. Like, and so center breaks him for 6-4. And it's like, even he had break points in that first set. And it's like, he's all up inside the baseline. And I'm just like, you done this like 4 or 5 times on 4 or 5 break points. You have not converted. Why aren't you stepping back? Why aren't you just stepping back, get the ball in play, and then work the point to get the break? I was like, Carlos, you got to learn on that one. Right. And again, he's up the third set. I think he was up 5-2. He ended up winning at 6-4, but he let center break him. You talk about in the other set where I think the third set, I think he was up a break. And then, but every service game, it was like a deuce, another deuce. I was like, put this fool away. What are you doing? And then what happens at 5-4? Center's like, boop, I'm going to get my break. And then he goes to 5-all, and then they get to the tie. It's like, Roger Federer is not going to let you get back in. If he got you, he going to step on that neck. But
let me tell you what.
Go ahead. No,
I was good. Just to add what you're saying, he did that again in the fifth set. Because he was up a break.
Exactly.
And I even said to myself, Isaac, I said, he's going to lose that. He's going to lose that break lead.
I wanted him to get a double break because I was like, if he don't get the double break, he's going to give this break back. And sure enough, if center was like, give me this break back, and got it back. But like you said, to your point, though, when it came down to it, and this is the thing about Carlos. To me, Carlos plays his best tennis when he is either at level or he is behind. When he's behind, he's just like, I'm gonna pull it out my ass and I'm gonna get back up in this thing. You hear me? He's like, I play me some good tennis when I'm under pressure, but he does not play his best tennis when he has a lead. But at the same time, when that super tiebreaker hit in the fifth set, he was like, you know what? Yannick Sinner, I ain't playing with you right now. I ain't gonna play with you. And every point, it was just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I was just like, how'd you just run 7? He was like, boy, I am not even trying to play with you. And then Yannick got 2 little points. And then the Carlitos was like, it's over. It's over. 8-9 and a winner on the 10th. And the championship is mine. And Bryce, so, okay, I'm sorry. Do you have any more analysis on Carlos?
The only thing that I'm going to say, and then I'll be done, is, and I don't know how much longer in the future, But I feel as long as Sinner and Alcaraz on opposite ends of the draw, this is going to be a final we're going to see a lot.
A lot.
Because I see a clear level difference between them and everybody else.
I agree with that. It's going to take some time, in my opinion, for the others. And when I say others, we're talking again about your Drapers, we're talking about your Ben Sheltons, we're talking about your Art DeFeast, we're talking about the Fonsecas. It's going to be a minute for them to really be able to insert themselves. It's going to be interesting who plays the Djokovic role. Because if you think about it, the two new was Rafa and Federer.
Right.
And then Novak was like, wait, make room. And they was just like, no, we ain't trying to make room for you. And he ended up pushing his way in. Who is going to be that person to do that with these new two? I wonder who that's going to be. But
you know what I think?
Yeah,
you know what I think it's going to be?
Yeah.
And it may be an unpopular take, but when I look at the game, right, who has the weaponry to do it, and if they continue to, I think it could be Ben Shelton.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree with that. Ben is definitely going to have to get locked in, though. And that's the thing. I think Ben played an exceptional fourth round match at Roland Garros. Because he went out to Alcaraz, right?
Alcaraz, right?
Yeah. And to me, he went out in 4, and I felt like he played great tennis. I felt like he really brought a great level. And if he continues on that trend, I absolutely agree with you. I think he will be the one to insert himself into those big two. Right. I do, but they've got work to do. They've got work to do because to me, Bryce, that final was one of the best finals I have ever. I mean, 5+ hours of just back and forth. Who is going to take it? Oh, it was so good. And quietly, Bryce, I'm not even gonna lie to you. When Carlos went up and he got with his team, and then he hugged. They just showed him hugging his mom and his dad, and I think his little brother was in there, and he gave both of them a kiss. I tell you what, it made me get emotional. It really did. I was like, that was so beautiful to me. And it just shows you just how, just genuine he is and how much he loves his family and his team. It was special, bro. It was so special.
And let's not forget, we have another situation now, potentially like a Federer Nadal, because, although Sinner and Alcaraz, I don't think they would say that they're best friends.
Right.
But they definitely are very cool with each other.
They're cool with each other. Exactly.
Yeah.
100%, bro. Like I said, I felt bad for Sinner. I really, really honestly did, because when you're that close and like you said, those 3 championship points, it's going to keep him up for a bit. It will. Right. But at the same time, I feel like he's also one of the better ones who's going to be able to get past it and be like, okay. He's okay, I'm about to step it up and bring an even better level the next time I'm in a championship.
Right. And let me clarify one thing too.
Yeah.
When I'm talking about kind of like what's going to happen going forward, I'm talking about the majors. We already know these other tournaments that are best 2 out of 3. Any given week they can lose potentially to someone.
Correct.
Heck, Alcaraz would have lost the title if it was best 2 out of 3. So I'm really talking about when you're talking about best of 5.
Yes.
In the majors, it's going to be very difficult to derail these two from meeting in the finals in the near future.
Absolutely. All I know is Carlos needs to win 10 and Yannick needs to win 12. If you know, you know.
Of
Grand Slams.
Oh, stop. Anyway, you're so wrong.
I'm just saying.
I had to think for a second, but I got it.
You did your math. You did the math.
Right. And I feel confident that they will.
Yes.
Do you want to tell us real quickly about the men's doubles?
Yes. Well, I tell you what. I mean, great championship match. You had the Brits. You had Skupski and Salisbury, who love those two guys, against Zeballos and Granollers, who surprisingly, Bryce, had never won a Grand Slam doubles title. I did not know that.
Me
I didn't
either.
know it either.
I was surprised.
Because they've been number one in doubles, so I just assumed that they had won one of the doubles majors.
Right.
And they had not. I was shocked when I heard that. And then I watched the match, and Zeballos and Granollers win their first Grand Slam doubles title. Very emotional, and just kudos to them, man. I know they've been on the scene for a while, because I think they both are like 38, 39?
They not no spring chickens.
They ain't spring chickens, exactly. So for them to pull off a Grand Slam title at this point is just kudos to them. That was awesome. Yeah.
Right. So folks, that was the 2025 Roland Garros Championships. Matt, like we said it was going to be fire. It was absolutely fire. And just here in a couple of weeks, we're going to be doing this all again, this time on the grass in Wimbledon. So look for us to come back with our preview show for Wimbledon and to prep you for that tournament. But Isaac, any final thoughts before we sign off?
Oh no, man! Just so happy that we enjoyed a great Roland Garros 2025. Once again, shout out to TNT for an absolutely incredible coverage window. You did the thing. Adam Lefko, you are dude, man. You are a new dude. Steve Wiseman, you ain't going nowhere. But Adam Lefko, we making room for you too, because you did your thing, bro. Really nice job.
All right, so with that, we're getting ready to jump off of here because we got to hit the IG Live because we know y'all want to talk about this some more. So with that, everyone stay well. On behalf of the podcast, this has been your boy Bryce.
And this is your boy Isaac.
And we are Brothers on Tennis. Everyone, be well.